Good evening, folks, and welcome back to Wilderness Wargaming. Tonight, we're going to go over the faction focus for Genestealer cults. We're getting pretty far into the lists of armies that are going to be available in Warhammer, and are available. We don't know if any new ones coming out. And it's time to get into these guys, who are a little bit of what I would call a niche choice, but definitely an interesting one. So, Genestealer cults were not a thing when I first started playing back in 2nd edition. You were aware that Genestealer cults existed in lore, but they weren't an army. They were just something that Genestealers did when they weren't fighting in part of the larger Tyrannid army, and you heard about it, but you didn't play against them. I'm not quite sure at what point they actually came out, but they're a very interesting addition, because they have always been a very different army from the other ones around them. They have had very unique mechanics, and I don't think this will be anything particularly different. So let's see. Upcoming. Their army rules will be cult ambush. So if your army is Genestealer cults, each time a unit with this ability is destroyed, roll a d6, adding 3 to the unit if it is battling. On a 4+, that unit is placed in a cult ambush, and you can place 1 cult ambush marker. Now, this is the thing I think where people are talking about they're getting unlimited unit, because you can't actually destroy it. You can always get a cult ambush with a battle line unit, because your minimum 1 + 3 is 4, and you're always going to get 4 up. You can place this more than 9 inches away from all enemy units. This is not possible with no markers placed. So technically, you could prevent this if you had enough board control that they can't place it anywhere that's 9 inches away from all enemy units. But I don't know how you would do that unless you had our extreme horde army of maybe orcs or something. An enemy model, excluding aircraft model, any kind of move within 9 cult ambush marker, you place that cult ambush marker is removed from the battlefield. At the end of the reinforcements of your opponent's next movement phase, for each of your cult ambush markers that is still on the battlefield, you can select 1 unit from your army that is cult ambush and set that destroyed unit back up on the battlefield as the deep strike ability, containing all of its models with their full wounds remaining. I believe if one of those models touching that cult ambush marker is then removed, Characters attached to the unit are not returned. Okay, so you still lose your characters. Alright, so I can see some play into this, actually, is that if the enemy goes for very few battle line units, then they're going to have only a 50% chance of bringing it back. So you can still whittle them down. Now, granted, they're going to be coming back. This is going to be a very powerful ability, don't get me wrong. If they take a ton of battle line units in order to assure regeneration, well, we don't know how good battle lines are. That might severely limit them. However, I do think this is going to be a very powerful ability. I think this adding 3 should probably be a 2. I am going to add this to the list of abilities that I find very, very concerning going into this. This, along with Ignores Cover being a little too prevalent. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Not too much really comes to mind off the top of my head. I'm going to put those as my top 2 concerns going into 10th edition. I have tried to be very upbeat about the armies going on and not just say, oh, they're going to be unbalanced. This one does cause concern to me. I think the main limitation is that not a lot of people play Genestealer cults. It's not a super common army, but I don't know how frequent how that'll remain true if this becomes common. I think this ability could be troublesome for the game's balance, but I'm going to reserve final. I'm not going to say that it is. I'm merely concerned that it might be. Okay. And then they have the detachment. They came from below. Each time a Genestealer cult unit from your army is set up on the battlefield as reinforcements until the end of your next fight phase, weapons equipped by models in that unit have the sustained hit 1 and ignore cover ability. Okay. So that's going to not only make these units come back, they're going to be pretty powerful. And I don't like I said, I do not like Ignores Cover. This is becoming way too prevalent, and that I would rather have seen them have maybe devastating wounds even than Ignores Cover. I just do not like the fact that how this renders terrain unimportant. Let's see, and then they can include Brood Brothers, Astra Militarum, up to 250 points worth in an incursion, 500 in the strike force, 750 in an onslaught. You cannot have one as a warlord. You cannot have epic heroes, organs, rattlings, Militarum test chefs. Those are basically the super elite troops: commissars, regimental preachers, regimental Genestealer, uniform servers, and aircraft. So it's basically the vehicles and the basically infantry troops. But that's good. That makes a lot of sense for Genestealer cults. They absolutely should have the ability to add Renegade Astra Militarum, and I'm pleased with that. Okay, their units: neophyte hybrids. Now, I believe these are battle line troops types units. Let's see what we got here. Auto pistol. Okay. Range 12, attacks 1, ballistic skill 4. Almost everything here is ballistic skill 4. Hybrid firearms. 24-inch range. Same thing. It's basically the rifle version. Leader pistol. This looks like just a strength 4 version. Basically, it's supposed to be a bolt pistol. Flamer. Ignores cover and torrent. Nothing unusual there. Grenade launcher. Frag blast. D3 attacks. Ballistic skill 4. Strength 4. And the crack, which is real skill you're going to probably want to use with only D3 attacks up here. Attacks 1, ballistic skill 4, strength 9, EP minus 2 damage D3. Heavy stubber, rapid fire, which is ironically not heavy. It's basically a 50 caliber machine gun. That's what this is supposed to be. 36-inch range. This is the longest range weapon on the list. Attacks 3, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. A seismic cannon, heavy rapid fire. Not sure what this exactly is. Attacks 4, ballistic skill 5, strength 6, AP minus 1, damage D3. This looks like an anti-heavy infantry weapon here. And the Weber. This thing used to be really weird back in the day. In fact, I'm surprised it's still even around because nobody ever took Webers. But I think they were supposed to slow you down back in the day. Devastating wounds, torrent. 12-inch range, attacks D6, ballistic skill not applicable. This is a torrent weapon. Strength 2, AP 0, damage 1. Only real reason I can see to take this is the devastating wounds. It'll turn into mortal wounds. I don't remember how the rules were this thing worked back in 2nd edition. I should try to look it up. But that's interesting to see it coming back because a lot of armies had it. Nobody used it, but a lot of armies had it on their list back then. I don't believe though that it was even modelable a lot of models. Melee weapons. Okay, the chainsword attacks 2, weapon skill 4, strength 3. So this is basically just the extra attack weapon. Power weapon. Attacks 1, weapon skill 4, strength 4, AP minus 2, damage 1, and the generic close combat weapon, which is what we'd expect. It's not really changed. It's changed way of displaying it with the weapons stuff down here now, stuff on the stat line. Okay, they have deep strike, they have cult ambush, which we already went over. Plan generations and making. At the start of your command phase, roll 1d6 for every objective marker you control that it's one or more used for army with its ability within range of it. One or more of the results is a 4-up, you gain 1 CP. In the reinforcements, and War Gable is called icon. The reinforcement step we remove phase, you can return up to 3 destroyed piles of bears. Oh my god. Bears units within the range of an objective marker you control, you can return up to D3 plus 3. Cannot be used to return destroyed guys. Oh my gosh. So getting these guys off the board is going to be kind of bonkers. I think this is going to be the whole thing. They're going to be a massive horde army. Now, saved by I don't see really devastating stats over here. I don't see anything over here that's really terrifying. They honestly look a little weak, but then that makes sense if they're going to be constantly coming back. So that gives me cause for hope that this will not be as bad as we thought. Let's go on. We've got the Patriarch, the Alpha Predator, which, oh geez, what does that look like? Okay, 8-inch moves, toughness 5, save 4 up, wound 6, leadership 6, objective control 1, and the only melees, Patriarch's Claws, devastating wounds, and twin link, so re-rolling all wounds. You can really fish for some 6s here. Attacks 5, weapon skill 2, strength 6, AP minus 2, damage 2. So this is basically a Genestealer. A deep strike, infiltrator, and leader. Might from beyond. When the model's leading unit, melee weapons have devastating unit. So he transfers that to his unit. Cosmic Horror. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit within 6 inches of this model must take a battle shock test. He's very scary, more so than a normal Genestealer. And it has a psychic familiar that doubles the range of its Cosmic Horror ability. Interesting. Not horrifying. It's nice that it gets spike with the Cosmic Horror, but I don't think this thing is too, especially with no range attacks whatsoever. It doesn't even have a 3-up armor save. So it's always going to be that single. It only has a 50% chance of saving. I don't think this thing will be that hard to handle. But no joke either. It has a lot of attacks, and the melee weapon is not bad at all. Okay. And especially not with that devastating wounds on it. Weapon spotlights. Demolition charges. Assault blast, one shot. Okay. 6-inch range, attacks D3, 6 plus 3, ballistic skill 2, strength 12, improvements 2, damage 2. So you only get to use this once, but this is a great anti-vehicle attack. And remote explosives, black fire, range 24 inches, attacks D6 plus 3, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 5, AP 0, damage 5. So it's supposed to be like a mine that you at some point left out there before the fight. I'm not sure. I guess you can only use demolition charges once per battle, but remote explosives you can use over and over again, maybe? This format is a little confusing to me. I'm not 100% sure. And the melee weapon, power sledgehammer. I don't know what you call this kind of unit. But that's a big hammer. 3 attacks, weapon skill 3, strength 12, AP plus 1, damage D6 plus 1. Okay. About what you'd expect for a highly devastating melee weapon from a horde army. So, not too over the top. Okay, the Abominant, whatever that is, it uses this power sledgehammer. Coordinated trap. Let's battle tactics strategy. 2 CP, so it's a little expensive. At the start of your shooting phase or the start of the fight phase, 2 Genestealer or cult units from your army that have not been selected to shoot or fight this phase, and 1 enemy unit. Until the end of the phase, each time a model on either unit makes an attack, it can only target that enemy unit. And only if it's resolving that attack, add 1 to the roll. Okay, so this basically gives you a +1 to wound against a targeted enemy as long as you have at least 2 units that can see it. That could actually make some of these things way more effective because they don't look that formidable right there. Strength 3 is going to wound a lot of targets on 5, so strength 4, that could quickly become a 4. If they're already wounding on a 4, they can become a 3. Even if you're using on something that only wounds on a 6, moving it to wounding on a 5 is doubling your wounds. All right, and tunnel crawlers. Ascension Day, let's see. 1 cheat story from your army that is arriving at the deep stripe ability. Unit can be set up anywhere on the battlefield, more than 3 inches horizontal away from all enemy models. Unit targeted with this strategy was not eligible to declare charge in the same turn. So this allows you to deploy very, very close to an opponent. Possibly get within range of something like demolition charges. Only a 6-inch range from deep strike. I could see the use for that for sure. Yeah, they definitely did this. Even their numbers are called in one location or forces are like reveals themselves elsewhere. So what you're going to have to do playing this is compromise between the relatively weak battle line units and probably better other units, but the battle line units will come back. It's very, very, very interesting. We'll really have to see where this goes. Let's see. Next up, we have Drukhari coming up. I actually went a little out of order here. Then Imperial Agents, and they're going to go into Space Marine chapters other than the main ones. All right. Well, I guess we'll see what we'll see with these guys. It's pretty cool. Let's see. They're also brute. It's not just orcs that can do both. True. New collective names such as shotguns and auto guns. That must be those weapons there on the hybrid firearm. Shotguns and auto guns probably. Which should be their generic shooting weapon, and then so unit with a vicious patriarch, yeah. The hail of hybrid firearms, yes. Pair it with a patriarch, and use it on hybrid metamorph squads to tear through an enemy with Okay, yeah, the hybrid weapons are shotguns and autoguns. Pair that up. In spoiler, it's actually Tyrannids. What does that refer to? The long-awaited angels. Yeah. Turns out it's actually Tyrannids coming, not Space Marines. Okay, well, that's all I have on the Genestealer cults. Not an army I know a great deal about, but an interesting one. I have played against them before, just once, but it was fun and very amusing, very informative game, and an informative article because we're seeing an army that has some rules that are not obviously over the top, but it seems to have real staying power on the battlefield. So anyhow, please remember to like and subscribe, comment down below, and click the notifications bell for more great content from Wargaming. And I'll see you back here very soon. Bye.